Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to be doing a top 5 video on my top 5 archetypes I would like to see created in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now these are based off stories and legends of old that I would love to see become archetypes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! They haven't done it yet, and I would love to see them be like TCG archetypes with the amazing artwork that we've seen with some of the TCG archetypes in the last couple of years. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Konami's used old stories and tales from, you know, places and cool things and cool people and made them into TCG archetypes. I mean, look at Cosmos, it's based off Star Wars. Look at Noble Knights, based off Knights of the Round Table, Burning Abyss, you know, Dante's Inferno. I mean, they've done it before, and I would just love to see these things become archetypes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And see Konami's take on them with some nice artwork and be pretty good decks in general. So first off, guys, we have our number 5, and I do have a piece of paper in front of me so I can read them off. We have Fairy Tales. Now, I'm not talking about like Fairy Tale Snow, which we got recently over here in Dark Illusions. What I'm talking about is kind of like a fairy tale archetype. Now, we did see this in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. I forget, it was like Siegfried, not Siegfried himself, but like his younger brother, I forget his name, Von Schroeder, like he used like Fairy Tale deck, and that's what I'm kind of talking about. I would love to see that become a thing, and Konami makes the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show cards into real, but if not, I mean, you definitely could easily do that. You could base things off like the Three Little Pigs, Red Riding Hoods, you know, Snow White, you know, Hansel and Gretel, you know, all these cool things you can make into a storybook archetype, and you could have like Mother Goose be the boss monster if you wanted to, and have like a book, like a storybook be the field spell card, like library, you know, you can make it a library card, like not like a spellbook library, but you know, Grand Spellbook Tower, but you can have like the Grand Library, you know, and that's the field spell for the archetype. You can make Mother Goose the boss monster. You can have all the little story characters be the monsters and the spells and the traps that tell all the different stories and the key parts of those stories. And I would love, love, love to see all this happen. Next up, I have Shakespeare. And I know everybody just went, did you just say Shakespeare, the bard? Yes, him. The old guy from England. Yes, Shakespeare. Now, if you guys have never read any Shakespeare plays, I don't blame you. I don't know many Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that actually like Shakespeare in general, but you can't deny, if you've ever read anything from Shakespeare, he wrote some good stuff. Be it Hamlet, be it Hamlet's really good, be it Macbeth, be it Romeo and Juliet, be it a whole bunch of his other stuff he's written. I would love to see that, or just, you know, poems from Edgar Allan Poe, even if you did that. But just, you could literally, there's a cool way you could do it. You could have like a stage be the field spell, like the Bard's stage, or like the stage, you know, based off the world globe. You could have Shakespeare be the boss monster again, and you could have all his different stories with key players in those stories, like Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Shakespeare, King Henry. You know, you could have those characters be sub monsters. So you have the boss monster, then you have your little guys that do searching and everything like that, and those could be your other pieces for the archetype. You could have spell cards based off the different stories. I mean, the list goes on and on. And or even if they didn't even do it on Shakespeare himself and his stories, you could literally do it where you just focused on one of his stories. You could make it off Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, you know, Macbeth, whatever the case may be. You could easily do that. However, Konami's never, I would love to see them do that. That'd actually be kind of cool, and it would teach people about literature, I guess you could say. Next, I have an archetype that's really not based off anything, but it's a really cool concept. And I hope you guys just listen to me for this for a second. I wanted to make this number 1, but I really like number 1 and number 2, number 1 and number 2 really, and that's the Greek gods. Now, as we guys know, we've seen throughout Yu-Gi-Oh! History, there be god-based cards in each series. We had the original series, we had the god cards. GX, we had like kind of the corrupt forms of the gods, I guess you could say. GX, we had the Nordics, and not GX, excuse me. 5Ds, we had the Nordic monsters, and then after that, Zexo hasn't had any gods. Arc 5 hasn't had any god cards. I would love to see them build. You know, that's the thing I always look about. I'm like, okay, you got Egyptian gods, you got Nordic gods. What's the other big gods? The Greek and Roman gods, right? Zeus himself. They never turn it into an archetype. The only card that you really find, if you look online, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card that's based off, you know, I guess you could say technically the Greek gods, is Athena. There is a card named Athena. It's based off Athena, you know, the protector of Athens. But they never made an archetype of it, and I don't understand why. There's so many gods. You can have Mount Olympus be the field spell, Zeus, and you can literally have, like, because in the Greek mythology you have like these different gods. You have the high tier gods like Zeus and Poseidon and Hades and things of that nature, and then below that you have like Hermes, who's the messenger, and Hermes, you could have like Hermes message, and that could be the search card for the deck. You could literally have like the subpar, like the below status gods like Hercules and stuff like that. Those could help you go into the bigger gods like Zeus and Poseidon, and Mount Olympus could be the field spell. I mean, there you go, Konami. I just give you a great idea. Go make it. I mean, it would be an awesome concept, and I know a lot of people out there would just love it. And it'd be really cool to have like Egyptian gods versus Greek gods and Nordic gods versus Greek gods. It'd be a cool concept. Number 2, I have pirates. And you may say to yourself, well, pirates, Seto? You want to see pirates be an archetype? I mean, you look at all the different, cards that are pirate-based in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's not that many. You have Skull Mariner, Ghost Ship, some Photon card, and that's all. There's no really pirate theme in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it'd be a cool concept to make it an archetype. Now, listen to what I have to say about this. Now, I do know that in Arc 5 recently, they did make a pirate. They had a pirate on the show, and he played a pirate deck, summoning pirate monsters and things of that nature, but it was really gimmicky and awful, I thought. What I want to see, what I would love to see, is they make an archetype based off the golden age of piracy in the 1600s and 1700s. That's what I want to see. What do I mean by that? I want to see Blackbeard be a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I want to see Captain Kidd be a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Even if they made make-believe, pirates like Captain Flint from Treasure Island and things of that nature, do it. You have so many cool, awesome pirate guys. What have Yu-Gi-Oh fans always been like? Killing, rape, pillaging. I didn't say that word. Killing and pillaging and riding ships and going arg. I mean, that's a cool archetype in itself for adult players, and we've seen Konami go with adult themes before, in the TCG. Why can't you do that? You could have the Queen Anne's Revenge be I mean, there's so many different things you could do. You could have their Call of Port be the field spell. The Searchers could be ships. You have different pirates that do different things. You could have like a couple pirates be like the big bad boss monsters. I mean, there you go. I mean, it's not hard. And it's so cool, and it's rich history that I would love to see. We've seen a lot of, history based off in, when the imports come in and things like that, because from the West, like Japan and everything, because that's where the game is based in. And you've seen a lot of different things like, lore and things like that come over here, but we haven't seen anything from the East really until we saw like the Noble Knights, Burning Abyss, things of this nature. You really haven't seen that many of them. Even the spirals, which are based on spies, that's an Eastern thing. It's like the show, like 007 and things of that nature. Why don't we make something based off pirates? Make it a pirate archetype. Make it based off the original pirates, the real pirates. I mean, make them a deck. It's so cool, and I would love to see the artwork of it. Can you just imagine Blackbeard as a secret rare? I mean, let's just a picture of Blackbeard with his beard on, on flaming, and just him like with a sword, and it would look so cool. I mean, think of some of these pirates, like it'd just be so cool looking. Number 1 though, guys, I have, and this has been something ever since Burning Abyss. I am very, very surprised Konami has not pursued this story. Now, this is an old Norse story, and we've seen Konami pursue stories into archetypes like, Noble Knights, Burning Abyss, and that is Beowulf. Now, some of you guys out there are probably like, what the heck is Beowulf? Look it up. Look up Beowulf. This is a Norse story. It was originally written down. It's one of the oldest stories that was ever literally written down, so it was like told orally for years and thousands of years, hundreds of years. And it was one of the first stories ever written down into pen and paper. And that was because the fact of the matter was, it was written down during the Dark Ages, and it's one of the few Norse stories we really know a lot about. And it, monks and everything, they wrote it down, and old texts and everything like that, back doing like, I don't know when, like in the Dark Ages and after the fall of the Roman Empire. So, what is the story of Beowulf, and what does it entail? I'll give you a quick synopsis here, and why I really would love to see this. So, Beowulf is this king, this prince, this knight who comes from Norway, and he's a fighter and a killer. He's one of the strongest men in the land, and he goes to fight this evil creature that's tormenting supposedly Denmark. It's called something else at the time. So he goes to this great hall of this king, and the king says, "Can you save my kingdom, sir?" And he says, "Yes, I will fight this thing." And the evil thing is called Grendel. And Grendel is considered the pure evil of the world. He's like this evil monster with these huge claws. He's tall and strong. He can rip a man in half, And so he comes every, they have a feast to lure Grendel out of hiding. And then Beowulf slays Grendel, and he thinks he's killed the evil. And then he finds out that where did this evil beast come from? It had to come from somewhere. And he finds Grendel's mother in his second saga. So it's kind of like the Norse sagas, So it has the first saga, the second saga, the third saga, the fourth saga. Like Dragon Ball Z, you have different sagas. That's the same thing goes with Grendel, with Beowulf. After he kills Grendel, that's his first saga. Then his second saga, he kills the mother of all evil, and who slept with the devil himself and made Grendel, and that is Grendel's mother. Then he goes back to his home, and he becomes king, because he's so notorious for slaying evil itself. And he literally becomes like freaking, what does he become? I forget. He becomes king, and he fights this huge battle on ice. It's an ice battlefield to protect his homeland, and he fights an army, and they have a battle literally on a frozen lake, which is really awesome. And then after that, when he's an old man, he takes up an apprentice who's this young boy that nobody knows, and he teaches him the ways of the sword. And he has to go fight a dragon who's destroying his homeland, and he kills the dragon, but the dragon hurts him. It poisoned him with some, I forget exactly how he died. But he died fighting the dragon, and he gave his sword to his apprentice and said, "Now you will become king and take my place." And that is the story of Beowulf in a nutshell. But it's a really cool story. Definitely look it up. Look up all these different stories, guys. Look up the different pirates. Look up, your Greek mythology. Look up all these cool things and imagine them as Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. You literally have Grendel's mother, and the dragon. Those are three, evil monsters, boss monsters you could have them fight. Those are three different sets you could include. You have different sagas. You could say, well, for the first saga, Grendel, that'll be the first set we release, Beowulf. Second, Grendel's mother. Third, the battle in the ice field, on the ice lake. Fourth, the dragon. And, the apprentice. There you go. I can't, it would be such a cool archetype, and it would be so badass, and the artwork would look so cool. Please do it, Konami. That is my #1 favorite theme, or I guess a story that I would love to see be taken into an archetype. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and tell me, guys, I would be really interested, are there any themes or stories that you would love to see become Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes in the game? And until next time, guys, take care, everybody. I'm Seto Kaba.